Ali Velshi of MSNBC spoke to former Congressman Joe Walsh about health care, and this was bizarre, and this was ugly. So Ali's gonna hit him with a bunch of facts, and Joe Walsh's responses, I mean, it's like he's not even trying to make sense. So, and note the main argument he keeps coming back to as to why he doesn't think the U.S. can have single-payer health care. Let's watch.
Some figures. I'll read them to you because I know you probably can't see them there, but let's just talk about healthcare spending per person in the United States versus other countries, right? The average of all developed countries, I've used OECD countries, this is from 2015, is $3,814 per person. This is all spending. This is insurance. This is what you pay out of pocket, everything, what the government pays. In the United States, that number is $9,451 a person. Strikes me, Joe, as a conservative and a Republican, that's the problem right there.
Bingo. And the reason, Ellie, that's the case is because we don't have a real market for healthcare. Healthcare is expensive because somebody else is paying for it for most of us. Your employer, government, or the insurance company.
Right.
Unless we grow up and most of us take care of our day-to-day healthcare expenses, this isn't going to change.
Okay.
Government should always be there for the needy, but the rest of us have got to assume more of these costs.
Let me give you another example. I'm going to rank healthcare outcomes by country, right? Again, same thing. OECD countries. Let's put that up and we can discuss this. Number one of all these OECD countries, all these developed countries in the world, Britain is number one, Switzerland's number two, Sweden's number three. These are 11 countries. The United States is dead last. Now, you know what the other 10 countries have in common? There's no market-based health care. There's universal health care in all of those countries. So I hear what you're saying, and I'm a business guy, Joe. I generally think business can do things better than government. But in this case, there isn't a single example in the world of a health care system that runs in a free market.
Ellie, you can't compare the rest of the world to us. They do not have the big, diverse populations that we have. They do not have the inner city populations that we have.
Let me show you the last one. I'm going to show you the last one. U.S. performance rankings in terms of actual quality of care. Quality of care, the U.S. comes out 5th out of 11. Access to health care, 9th out of 11. Efficiency, equality, and living healthy lives, 11 out of 11. Joe, there's nowhere we succeed. This is the best country in the world with the biggest economy. We just don't get it right anywhere on health care.
But we have the highest quality of care, which is why people come here when they really need high quality care.
Very few people come to America. Very few
baloney.
people come to America for health care.
But again, the problem is
rich people come to America for health care.
For the best quality of care in the world, Allie. Absolutely. The problem is we have Medicaid that's broke, Medicare that's broke, Social Security that's broke, and now we've just got another entitlement called Obamacare that will bankrupt this country.
So how do I convince you that for all those outcomes, I mean, Joe Walsh, if you want to live a healthier life, better access to health care, you want to live longer than anybody in developed countries, and yet I've proven to you that 10 out of 11 countries do it better than America, but you won't do it.
I love you, my friend, but you cannot. Sweden does not have our inner city population. Norway, these countries do not have. You're talking about countries the size of India with homogeneous populations. Ellie, you can't compare them to what we have.
Canada doesn't. That's not Canada.
Oh,
Canada's as
my God.
multicultural as the United States, if not more, with a 15% corporate tax rate and lower personal income tax rates than in the United States. So even the argument about I don't want to pay more taxes, you go to Toronto, you won't pay more taxes, and your health care is free.
Not at all. You'll pay more taxes there, and the quality of care isn't as good.
You 100% won't pay more taxes
Allie,
there,
you'll
Joe.
wait longer. You will
Just
wait
not gonna
much
happen.
longer for
You're
care.
in Chicago. You know how close you are to Canada? Go over there. You will not pay higher taxes.
You will die in America if you're on Medicaid. That's our problem.
That was one of the most infuriating things I've ever watched. It's like Joe Walsh is incapable of even responding to the points that he's making. He just goes right to, well, you know, Allie, what we got to do is you got these problems in this country. Medicare, Medicaid's going broke. Medicaid's really bad. Now we got another entitlement called Obamacare. It's going to bankrupt this country. You know, the wait lines, wait lists. It's not good. And notice the argument he made repeatedly, I think at least 2 times, maybe 3 times there, was, well, you can't compare us to those other nations because they have homogeneous populations. We have diverse populations. They don't have the inner city problem that we have here. You've heard that argument before, haven't you? Think about it. Why would that matter? Why does that matter? Why does that matter to a guy like Joe Walsh? What? Because to him, he thinks, well, I mean, come on, let's be serious. When you have diversity, when you don't have a homogeneous society, when you have those inner cities, we got dark-skinned people running around here, and they're not the same as the light-skinned people, so we can't have single-payer health care. Darkies will ruin the whole thing. How can somebody make that argument and think it's serious? Like, look, you can either call Joe Walsh a racist or just say he's fallen for the logic of the racist. There's no other, like, when you make that argument, there's no other interpretation of it. So, and Ali Velshi says, well, actually, no, Canada has single-payer health care, and they do not have a homogeneous population. So you're wrong. Canada has single-payer health care, and they have better outcomes, better cost, higher quality care than we do. And they're not homogeneous, so you're incorrect. He's like, yeah, but, we got diversity in the inner cities here. And? God, it's so sad to watch that, man. And he keeps giving, like, information and data on, oh, here, we're ranked dead last in terms of the modern nations. How you like them apples? And he just keeps firing back with incoherent nonsense. How do you, like, you can't convince a guy like Joe Walsh with information because he's not listening to you. It doesn't sink in. He doesn't care about the numbers. It's just like he reflexively goes back to his talking points. You know, hey, we're too diverse to have healthcare. We're too diverse to do it. Even though it works everywhere else in the world, it won't work here. And the problem is we don't have a market. All we have is a market for healthcare here. We have private, for-profit, rapacious health insurance companies. By the way, that's the problem right there. And Joe Walsh's solution is more of the problem. The problem is we have unnecessary middlemen, rapacious, for-profit, private insurance companies that take their cut unnecessarily. That jacks up the prices. A single-payer healthcare system just means the government is the single insurer, so everybody's insured through the government. That's all that means. And there's no profit margin. They don't need to take a cut, which is why other countries cover everybody and pay less for it. So it's just amazing. And even the argument, like the last refuge of the idiot science denier is what it is for people who don't believe in single-payer healthcare, is wait lines. Except we also have wait lines. And the way their wait lines are for elective procedures. In other words, ones that are not vital and necessary to happen immediately. If you need care immediately, you're going to get it. For elective procedures, yes, you might have to wait a little bit. For here in the U.S., we also have wait lines, and it goes based off of the size of your wallet. So the richer you are, the more likely you are to get care right away. If you're poor and you need the surgery, maybe you don't get it right away because you're poor. So our wait line is based on the size of your wallet. Their wait lines are based on how much you need the care. Gee, I wonder which one is better. And also, that was another one of his last points was, if we have best care in the world, it's why people come here. Actually, no, we just showed you the numbers. We have one of the worst in terms of quality of care. But Joe Walsh is like, yeah, but that's why people come here, though, so we have the best care. No, we don't. You keep saying we have the best. He just showed you we're not the fucking best. He showed you an empirical study, and you keep rejecting it. But what Joe Walsh is referring to is, like, Saudi princes come here, like billionaires. Yeah, because they're fucking billionaires. Only the richest of the rich get the best care. Half this country makes $30,000 a year or less. So, what, you want 95%, 99% of Americans to be fucked with not good care? But so Saudi princes can come here and they can get good care? Incoherent babble. Joe Walsh is a buffoon. He's a clown. Ali Velshi, he also couldn't have been nicer about the facts he was presenting. He kept giving him like, yeah, look, no, I'm a business guy. I understand where you're coming from. This is not a partisan thing. I'm just here to say, here are the facts. And Joe was like, anyway, let me give you some more dumbass talking points in my fake conservative radio host voice. Which, by the way, he actually does have or did, I don't know if he still does, conservative radio show. You can tell by how he talks. He put on the persona. Let me give you some incoherent talking points here after you schooled my punk ass and talk about how diversity sucks. Thanks, Joe. You were a great, addition to the conversation here. You gave us a lot of information